I just don't like little Timmy from Malmi Cartano, or not even Malmi Cartano, from fucking West End Espo, talking about he about that life. Man, ain't no gangsters out here. I want to keep it that way. We do not need gangsters in Finland. We don't need Bloods. We don't need Crips. Y'all leave it over there on that side. My name is Safari Barin. I'm a hip hop R&B artist. I'm born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, Southern United States. I started music in 2020, and I just been doing it ever since. I grew up on music. I had been doing music my entire life. I started in church singing. At that time, my parents didn't want us to rap and sing. You know, we were church people, but we do it anyway. I started by freestyling in like the 5th grade with some of my friends. You know, we beat on the desk at lunch, spit bars, and me and my cousins, we used to record in the closet. So I had been making music for a while, but I started doing it professionally here during COVID because they shut down all the sports, and I didn't have a way to like fully express myself outside of football. So then I got back into like really like making music, and it just felt like what I wanted to do. I felt like it was something that I wanted to do when I was younger, but I was just too shy at the time to like put it out. But then after COVID, I just felt like COVID was gonna either make us or break us. So I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Safari Barin, man, it just really hit me because my name is Jabari, so Bari was there. But Safari, like a lot of people just thought that I came up with it because it rhymed, but Safari, like if you look up the definition of a safari, people kind of think about it as the journeys, the safaris that people take in Africa. And my name is African. Jabari is a African Swahilian name, so it's a journey. And I kind of wanted my presence to tell people about my journey. So Safari Bari is kind of like Bari's journey. Like through my music, you could kind of travel with me through what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing. And also it was a way for me to kind of like let people know back at home how it is over here. Cause like when you get so far away from your mom, your dad, your family, you don't talk every day. You know, you don't see all the time. So I kind of felt like, all right, if I'm going on this journey and y'all can't be here physically, I can let you guys know through my music how it's going. So that's kind of how I came up with the name Safari Barin. And like now it just sticks. It just rolls. It's honestly kind of weird because from what I'm seeing now, a lot of guys want to be roadmen, and like they're kind of embracing this UK culture, a little bit of the American culture. But I think that the music industry here is a bit lost because honestly, as an American, when I'm seeing that, I'm like, bro, that's not what we really want. Like, I don't want them to bring that shit here. Like, I came here and stayed because it's peaceful, it's safe. And a lot of these kids, like I look at their backgrounds and I'm like, bro, you grew up with a summer cottage and clean water. Like, why you drilling? It's unnecessary. I do think it's a lot of talent, and I do like that the culture has grown where people do want to follow it. But do I think that it's a lot of originality in it right now? No, because so many of the new artists all look alike. They got the ski mask on, they got the jewelry from Wish. And I talk about that a lot in my EP, like where I'm just like taking shots at it, because it's like, you guys don't have to do that. You guys can set a new trend for your generation that's clean, that's safe, and a lot of the people, you know, in our generation to support it. So I think that the music industry here is progressing. It's just progressing in the wrong direction. And I think it's gonna take like a lot of these new guys with courage to just step out, be themselves, and create their own wave. I think that the sound is there. Guys are lyrically talented. And there are stories and struggles to talk about in Finland. Like, hell, let's talk about these high-ass taxes. Let's talk about not being able to fully just be, I guess, in Finland, everybody's very judgmental, especially in Helsinki. I feel like since I've been here the last 10 years, a lot of people despise people that want to stand out. And it's like a sickness. Like you see some artists that are trying to elevate and trying to do something that other people won't do. And people just hate it because a lot of people here, they don't have the courage to say it. They just kind of like manipulatively hate you like from a distance. So I think that that's kind of what I've observed about the music industry here. And I think that like, if Finland ever wants to get on the map for like music, especially hip hop, we got to come together. Like the country is so small. And when you think about it, if it's 5 million people in Finland, it's probably not even 10,000 of us trying to do hip hop and R&B. So for us to be, you know, kind of hating or just not, I think building a community for our, I guess, niche is not helpful. That's what I'm hoping to do. That's why I said I don't really care who I work with. Anybody that really wants to work, new or old, I'm willing to do it because I just want to see hip hop thrive here again. I want to see it become something where artists, English, Finnish, don't matter what you do it in, we can all be successful with it. It's a few of them actually. I like Ghost. I listen to him. Sex Man is another guy. Like, I mean, he's a big industry artist, but I just like his charisma and how he's kind of like very open to trying different things. Nicki Mags, that was like one of the first like local rappers, English rappers that I met here that I really enjoyed and I connect with some of his music. Deuce Man, he's a guy that I've worked with on the EP. Another local artist that, you know, is just really striving, trying to find his way out here. We're good friends. I like his music. And Dagger D is another one of my friends. He's been in the game for a minute. And I just really like, you know, these guys are very authentic with what they do. So those are just a few guys I could think off the head. It's a lot of artists that I do like. I just don't understand Finnish enough to like really know what they're doing. But those are just guys that like every time I see them, they're like really passionate about it. And they're just always just like giving as much as they can to the like craft. So I like them a lot. Ooh, man, that's tough. Honestly, I don't have like one specific artist. Like, man, like I'm at the point where anybody that wants to do music and is serious about it, I'll work with them. Like, it's so many talented artists out here that I think that I could like make good music with, and also that I can learn and grow from myself. Like, I only been doing it like 3.5 years, so I'm still trying to learn the game. What's crazy, a lot of the producers that I wouldn't work with are in the States. Cause like when I first started out, you know, I figured I'm in Finland, but maybe all of my guys back at home would know something. And it was a period of time where, you know, I was recording here and just sending the mixes and the tapes over there, and guys was taking my money and not sending it back. I won't name drop anybody, but all I'm gonna say is there's a lot of guys in Jackson, Mississippi that I won't be doing no goddamn business with no more. It's a lot of them. At least over here, guys may not be as good or talented, but they ain't gonna take your money and flee. So if you see this interview, you know exactly who the hell I'm talking about. My target audience, if I go based on Spotify, it's probably gonna be about people between 20 to 35, but I ain't gonna go by age. I say like, I'm more of a person that likes to talk about, you know, day-to-day real life things. I do music, you know, that you can bump in the club, but as I've kind of tried to find my path, I try to make music that's like timeless, like stuff that people can relate to in their 20s and then also at 40. So one of my idols is J. Cole, even though he dropped out of the beef. I was real disappointed, but I kind of understand. He's an artist that I kind of idolize, just being authentic, being creative in this process, and also being diverse with what he can do. You know, I think those are the people that I'm trying to target. Like, I don't want to try to target people that are just riding the trends, because I'm not at a point where I can keep up with half of these trends, man. I ain't one of the guys that's gonna shake ass for TikTok and shit I just want to make music for people that want to receive what I'm trying to say. So the EP Reality Check, it's about my personal experience, about the past 2 to 3 years of the things that I've had to learn as a person. It's basically me giving myself a reality check. It's kind of one of those things where you look in the mirror and you just kind of like observe yourself and the things around you. In that EP, I talk about my life, my health, being a dad, and also my discoveries with like the world, especially like with your friend groups. I think that I'm at a point in time where I'm understanding that to grow, sometimes you gotta take steps in other directions. You may have to lose some friends and connections, and that's just the reality of like being a man, you know? Like, if you want to better yourself, you got to make changes. And I'm very excited about it because it was very authentic. A lot of the music that I wrote immediately after I left the hospital. I had 3 kidney operations last year, and 1 the year before. So in that time, it was a time where I kind of like had a time to reflect on who were the people around me. And at that point, that's when I learned like everybody that I would have imagined being my friends or my family, they weren't there for me. I kind of like was in a dark place where I had to either like pick myself up and dust it off and just grow through it. And from that, you know, I just started writing about it because, you know, that's what I felt like the music was for. So I put a lot of that into the music, but also, you know, with other things outside of that, you know, just life in general. When you look at the world, even now, the politics and stuff like that, it just shows you the reality of like the society we living in. Like so many people are afraid to just be themselves. So many people are afraid to set their own standard. And then I just realized if I ever want to be the person that I want to be, I got to set my own standard and be comfortable with it. This song is titled Reality Check. It was produced by my guy, Roos. I think you know Roos. He's been around. He's another young producer that's, you know, I've been like kind of growing with. We both kind of like started with other people in the game. And Reality Check, man, it was like I said, like it was one of those songs while I was in the hospital, I started writing it. Because that process after having a kidney surgery, like they cut me 5 times, I had stitches. And it was a crazy reality because I'm 32 and I was in there with people that were 60 and 70. Like I wasn't supposed to be in there. This issue was something that people my age usually don't experience. So, you know, I was sitting up, it was maybe about 8 or 9 p.m. You know, older people start going to bed early. And I just started being able to just reflect. Like I was seeing myself like, man, how did I end up here? What could I have done? And why aren't the people that I love and care about or who I would invest so much into, why are they not here during this time? So then I just started to reflecting on that reality of like how it felt to feel alone, but also I felt strong because I didn't come out of that situation bitter. It's just kind of like I understood that I can't expect everyone to think or react in a situation like I do. And I think that from that, it kind of like gave me a different direction of how I wanted to grow as a person. So that's what Reality Check is. Like, you know, I check the reality that in life you're going to go through things and how you come out of them is what's going to define you. And I also realized that the person that I'm becoming now, I can't expect to handle things like I would have handled in my teens or in my 20s. Because, you know, in my 20s, I probably would have been mad, wanted to send some text messages, some calls, stuff like that. But then I'm thinking like, bro, 32, I got kids and shit. I got to be a man about this. And I got to like be able to think and act that way. So that's what Reality Check is about. And even in relationships, man, sometimes you meet a person and at one point in the relationship, things may be that way. And then a few years down the road, you realize like you may be drifting apart and you have to accept that that's also the reality of some people's relationships and lives. So that's what Reality Check is about, man. It's just about checking yourself, checking the things around you and putting it to perspective of like still growing and going forward. So the song starts off, I hit the joint and then I had a little reality check. Feeling shitty because I know I ain't been giving my best. I'm a smoker. I like to smoke. It took me about like few years to finally come out and say it because I was playing sports. So we weren't allowed to smoke and my parents didn't know I smoked. So in that song, it was also kind of me stepping out there and saying like, yeah, I smoke. And when I got out of the hospital, you know, I finally wanted to put this song together. I had a joint. And then from there, I kind of like tapped into like, you know, my laid back creative realm. And I did have a little reality check. And I felt like at that point, I looked at some of the things in my life as a parent, as an athlete, and I kind of felt like maybe I haven't been giving my all. Because when you land in the hospital, you go through a surgery and you don't really know how you're going to come out. Because once you go under anesthesia, anything can happen. I could have not woken up. And so I just came out of that and I said, I felt bad because I felt like I've been taking some things in life for granted. I haven't been putting maximum effort towards being my best at some things. So I felt shitty. But then there was a part in the song where I say, in the second part, I say I'm feeling better because I see I'm not no worse than the rest, staying focused on the mission. After a while of just sitting and dwelling in my own feelings, I started to look at other things and other people around me. And I realized everybody's going through something. Everybody's having a struggle. So I can't sit and just feel shitty for myself the whole time. There are other people that go through shit, but they're going forward. So at that point of the song, it was kind of like, all right, so I'm doing bad, but I ain't doing too bad. It's always somebody that has a story that may be a bit worse than yours. So I need to go forward. There was also a part in the song where I kind of talked about what we talked about. I said, I'm ready to work. I handle my business. Don't need no suit and tie. Work on my own. Can't work with these niggas because all they do is lie. And that's me kind of reflecting on like trying to work with people in places, trying to work with producers back home, trying to work with artists. And people will take your money or people will make promises about doing things and they don't deliver. So then I kind of got to a point where I was like, well, you know, I'm not going to beg people to work with me. I'm not going to beg people to do things. I'm going to just focus on working with the people that want to work. And I think that that was the best decision I made because, of course, as a new artist, man, you want to try to get as much music out as you can. And if you see that it's somebody that knows a little bit more, is doing a bit better, like you like, all right, let me try to work with this person. But then some people feel that they're so far up here that working with you is beneath them. And I had to learn that, like, you know, I had to learn that even in Finland, in this music industry, it's no different than any industry anywhere. There are people that feel like I'm too good to work for you. And that was also a reality check. So basically I had to stop chasing and just started doing so. I hit the joint and then I had a little reality check. Feeling shitter cause I know I ain't been giving my best. You see, life been testing me, she got a foot on my neck. Yo, fuck that bitch. She'd be okay if I just give her some dick. So I kind of just like, I kind of compare it to life like a woman just stepping on my neck. And like for me personally, from my experience, women, when they're upset, they want 2 or 3 things. They want some food, they want a hug, or they want some dick. So I kind of like twisted that and compared it to life, you know, like life got his foot on my neck right now, but fuck it. It'll be all right. I'm gonna give life some dick and I'm gonna keep going. Man, see, another thing about that, that's another reason why I don't post my relationships and stuff. Cause I remember when I was younger and I was dating, I used to always post and tag my girl. And then I started noticing all my niggas was following too. I'm like, hey, what y'all following for? So now I just keep my shit to myself. Yeah. Following, DM sliding, man. Some people be waiting for you and your girl to break up, man. You got to be cautious. Man, if you're going to do music, what I've learned is just be yourself. Don't expect overnight success or don't expect success at all. Do it because you love it. Do it because it means something to you. I think some of the greatest artists are people that just, they have the love for it. It's like any sport or anything you do. If you don't care about it, nobody else is going to care about it. And I think with the social media, we're smart enough to pinpoint people that are not authentic. You know, we could kind of dictate who's just doing it for attention and just wants quick success, or the people that are doing it because they really believe this is what they do. So anybody that's starting out as a musician, I just tell them to be themselves and do what feels good. What I had to learn is I want to make music that I know I can consistently make, because I don't want to go viral or blow up for doing something just because I acted out of character and I can't repeat it. That's why you have so many people that are like one-hit wonders, because they may have copied a style or did something good once, but they can't repeat it. So be yourself and do what you do. All the time, man. I think most of the setbacks is kind of just like the feeling of I'm not going as far as I want to go or as fast. You know, like you put out music, you put out the social media content, you make a few videos and you do it for a while, and at some point you're like, dang, you know, I'm a blow, right? Like I'm gonna finally get there. But then you realize it's a lot of other challenges. You know, you may not know the language, you may not really know the scene, you may not even really know how to promote. So I think for me as an artist, most of my setbacks may be within my own head. But what I've learned is if I get one person to listen to a song and they like it, I'm successful because I reached somebody. So I stopped trying to compare myself with the industry artists. And I think a lot of us local artists do that. We kind of look at the numbers of guys that have already successfully climbed the ladder and we compare. But what I start trying to look at is how are other people doing that are just like me? If they've been 2 to 3 years in the game and they're local, how am I faring with those artists? And then that's when I realize I'm not doing too bad. So I just got to keep going with it. And I just got to do it for the right reasons and not think that I'm a failure if I don't get a platinum song or a gold song. I'm not a failure because I did something that most won't do, and that's put it out, that's try. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, I'm dropping the second one like 2 months from now. So like, I kind of like, I'm not ready for an album. Like I've made a lot of music, but what I'm learning is I kind of want to start getting in the mindset of making my music a story, like not just making a bunch of songs just to like throw out there, but kind of make pieces of art. So I will be dropping a second EP, I think around August. So I'm trying to be consistent with my music and like give people more to be able to evaluate my talent. So yeah, it's more music to come. So like, yeah, I originally came to Finland like as a professional athlete. I came in 2014 playing American football. And it's not a big sport here. You know, I didn't know that coming here. You know, I was fresh out of college and I always wanted to get away from home. So, you know, you get an email from a few clubs in Europe and you see Finland. I had never heard about Finland. I just was like, this is my opportunity to get out, explore, find myself, and to get out of Mississippi. Not saying I love my state. I love being from the South. I love my family, but everybody always wants to get out and explore something different. So I came here as a football player. I've been doing it for the past 10 years, and I'm very grateful for that experience. You know, through that, I not only was able to come to Finland and recreate myself, but man, I experienced some great things. I became a father. I'm working full-time as an electrical engineering technician for an aerospace company, and I'm making music. So that's just a testament of the things that you can do in Finland, you know, the possibilities. It's a lot of people that feel like if you've born here, a lot of people feel like Finland is just shitty. It's not too much to do. But for a person like me that comes from never having anything, I just feel like my love for sports was able to help me find a new purpose. And that's another reason that I wanted to get in music, because as an athlete, I felt like people only saw me as an athlete. They didn't see me as a person. It was kind of like the lady that was interviewing LeBron years ago said, shut up and dribble. And I kind of felt like I was feeling that way here a bit. Like people didn't think I could be more than, you know, just maybe come for the summer, chase some girls, play ball. And I think when I was around I think I became a dad at 23. That's when my purpose kind of changed, because at this point, I'm a dad, I got a daughter, and I wanted to like change that narrative. So it went from me just wanting to be an athlete to wanting to be a person with a voice. And when 2020 came and I started making music, that's when it clicked, like, this is my way to do that. I can show other athletes that when they come here, they don't have to just be athletes. Like, we can do more. And by doing more the right way, we can be a positive influence. So, you know, when people see me now, they don't just see Bari the athlete. They see the rapper, the engineer, the dad. And that's why I kind of use my social media to show all those things. A lot of people wanted me to put myself in a box and just have a niche, but I can't do that, because I want to show people that we could do whatever we want to do, and we can be good at whatever we want to be good at. You just have to go about doing it your way. So that's kind of how I integrated. I used my opportunity as an athlete to like build a full-time life here. I had to balance that decision of moving my family back to the States or staying here. But once I started seeing stuff happen in the States, like the George Floyd case and Trump rallies going wild, and just even where we are now, where presidents are getting shot at, I thought to myself, I don't want my kids to be exposed to that. You know, my son and my daughter, they wake up and it's kids outside to 3 a.m. playing in the summertime, and they can drink water fresh out the faucet. And I'm like, this is what I would have wanted as a kid. This is the life that I would have wanted for myself. So I just felt like, you know, for me, Finland was a land of possibilities. And it humbles you a bit, because, you know, this is not a place where you come to get rich. You know, they taxing the hell out of us over here. So Finland taught me to do things because I love it and to be humble. I think that a lot of people here are humble because we understand that we do everything for ourselves and the greater good of the society. And so, you know, I learned a lot about, you know, socialism, politics. Like, once you leave one area in the world, it just opens your mind up to seeing things from a different perspective. The thing that shocked me the most was how peaceful Finland was compared to where I'm from in the States. And it's not a church on every corner. You know, where I'm from in the South, everybody goes to church just so we can shoot the church up. And then you come to Finland, nobody goes to church, but ain't nobody being bothered. So then it reminded me of what we used to learn in school called the golden rule. And I think that that's universal. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Simple. You don't have to put a religion on it. You don't have to put a church on it. Just treat people the way you want to be treated and just stay in your lane. And so I feel like if I continue to do that, I'll continue to be able to be successful in Finland. So yeah, that's my background with sports and football and Finland. Honestly, my parents are my biggest fans. Like, you know, when I first got into it, the first song I put out was called Kevin Gates, and it was the nastiest song ever. I'm talking about, yeah, you got to go listen to it. And surprisingly, you know, my mom was like, your dad playing that song every day. I'm like, 'cause he a nasty nigga. So, you know, now I feel like I get a lot of support from my parents. You know, they accept that this is who I am. And this is how I express myself. My mother and father, they sing. My mother was in a band when she was younger. So I think she's kind of proud that I kind of like followed in their footsteps as far as like wanting to do music. Me doing hip hop and rap and stuff was my choice, and they supported. So I'm thankful for that. I ain't get kicked out the church yet. I can still go back. So gridiron in the football world, gridiron used to be a sports forum where people could go and they could just shit on coaches, athletes, but it was anonymously. So like every year my name kept popping up on there for something. Like it wasn't even about sports. Like that's when you realize people kind of have no life, because people would talk about shit not related to football. So it got annoying. It honestly was mentally bothering me as an athlete, because I'm like, man, I'm out here doing my best and people still got something to criticize me about. But it's annoying because you don't know who. Like people create fake names and they'll post and say the weirdest of stuff. And so when I kind of came out with the gridiron song in the video, that was kind of my way of saying, oh, if y'all want to troll anonymously, I'm going to talk shit, but I'm going to say directly how I feel to you. I'm not afraid to be myself, and I'm not afraid to tell you guys what I think about you. And a lot of people liked it, because I know a lot of people probably felt the same way as an athlete, as a coach. You know, you're doing your best, your team loses, and people got something to say. And then when you win, they still got something to say. And so for like 10 years, like people was just getting on here slandering people. And even sometimes people slander my kids. I'm like, what my kids do? So like gridiron was kind of me just coming out saying like, fuck y'all. Like I'm right here. Like you can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass. I said that publicly. I'm not going to hide behind the email. And like, that was that. And like, you know, it was a fun experience. You know, J Ryder was in there. We was lit. And also it was nice because I got to feature other athletes that had been through the same thing in the video. You know, I got a bunch of other guys to like role play in the video, and kind of like I tried to get some of the most notorious people that had been mentioned on there. And it was kind of our way of coming together and saying, look, fuck y'all people. Like y'all don't know how much work we put into this. And I think that that's with anything. People don't know how much work you put into something, but they quick to criticize you about it. So that was kind of my way of saying, you can kiss my ass. That was it in 4K. Oh no, now the diss track that I recently put out, all right, I could tell you about that one. So while I was playing in Belgium, there was this guy named Michelle. I say his name now to put it in the diss track. Everybody knows. And he was kind of a guy that was just like, I felt like was abusing his power. A lot of people in the football community there felt that way, but nobody would say anything about it. And so when I played there last year, I ended up tearing my Achilles and I had to come back to Finland. But my medical expenses weren't paid. You know, I was promised insurances, medical treatment and stuff. And these people put me on the plane the next day, sent me to Finland. And a year later, I get a 1,500 euro bill from the hospital because nothing was paid. And I brought it up to this guy and I was like, you know, just explaining like, hey, I thought this was taken care of. And the guy just kind of shitted on me like, you know, I'm not paying for nothing. So I kind of just was like, all right, well, the old me would just sit back and let you do this. But the new me, I stood out and I said what I had to say, but I did it in a way that was me. I did it through music. So nobody in Finland been trying to beef with me. So I just started a beef with somebody that don't even rap. Fuck it. I had to do what I had to do. And it's crazy because that brings me back to what we talked about earlier. This guy had been doing that to so many people for years and nobody would say nothing. So when I started speaking out about it, it was people coming out of nowhere just feeding me information and just supporting me and having my back. So I kind of felt like this was my way of being the voice of the people. And we finally started to see results. So, he lost the team. The team quit on him. The league kind of banned him from being a part of things. And, now people are aware of what they were doing out there. So I'm thankful that I did it because I think it stopped him from 10 more years of like abusing his power as a team president and as a league administrative. So yeah, man, I let him have it. Like I let him have it, man. That was probably the biggest song I got this year and it ain't even mine. I mean, I think it's something for everybody. I feel like it's not a problem with it if it's really you, Some people are gangsters and some people are wannabes. I think that all music is expressive. I like gangster rap, man. Shit, I listen to Big S the Plug all the time. Like, I'm not opposed of it. I'm opposed to people promoting something that they're not really about. I think it's a big difference because people like, when we talk about our Snoop Dogs and those guys from the West Coast, they live that. They was about that. They got the accolades, they got the proof, they got the mugshots to prove it. I just don't like Lil Timmy from, Malmy Cartano, or not even Malmy Cartano, from fucking West End Expo, talking about he about that life. Man, ain't no gangsters out here. I want to keep it that way. We do not need gangsters in Finland. We don't need Bloods. We don't need Crips. Y'all leave that over there on that side. These kids be thugging though. They be thugging. Man, you can find me everywhere. It's Safari Barin 1. That's my social media handle for everything. I don't want people to have to type in 30 different places to find me. So capital S, capital B, _1, Safari Barin 1. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook. I'm old enough to still be there. Instagram, X, whatever it is, I'm on it.